Und sie arbeiten in handwerklich betriebenen Goldminen. Wie Zehntausende Kinder und Jugendliche in diesem Land graben sie Tag für Tag nach dem Schatz, der ihnen das Überleben sichert. Die meisten von ihnen sind zwischen 13 und 17 Jahre alt, manche noch jünger. Was sie tun, bezeichnet die Internationale Arbeitsorganisation als eine der schlimmsten Formen von Kinderarbeit. Mit Alkohol und Amphetaminen versuchen sie, die Müdigkeit und die Angst zu bekämpfen. Das in Burkina Faso mühevoll abgebaute Gold wird von Schmugglernetzwerken über die Grenze nach Togo gebracht. Ein internationaler Konzern bringt das Gold von Togo aus in die Schweiz.
This is Kirk here again at optionhunter.com, where we show you how to make smarter trades. In tonight's video, I'm going to go through the trades that we made on Tuesday night and then quickly start with the one trade that we made on Monday night. We just went ahead and closed out of one set of straddles that we had in SLV and just did things more detailed and set out the direction for just a quick closing trade. But we did go ahead and close out of our second set of straddles that we had in SLV. We bought back all three of the May contracts. We're totally out of the May expiration now and basically bought those back at a $67 debit. So we took a $135 profit on those, on that set of contracts overall. And I generally traded SLV pretty well, even though the stocks went all over the place. You can see we started making trades in SLV when implied volatility was up around the 70-80 range. Just when the stock was starting to really jump, and we sold 16 straddles, we sold 16 and a half straddles, and then we sold 17 straddles. Well, we took off the 16 and a half last time, we took off the 16s just now as the stock moves down, and so as the stock hopefully moves up just a little bit more and volatility continues to drop, which is the name of the game, we're going to be able to take off those 17 straddles, which are actually June contracts for a profit. So those might take a little bit longer to work, but generally speaking, our SLV positions are really well. I think we traded pretty good on GDX. So speaking of GDX, we went ahead and made an adjustment today, Tuesday, May 10th, to our GDX position. This is just for the May contracts, and yes, it was for 3 contracts, and maybe alert out for 2, and we had actually mentioned it in the comments to the next alert that came out that we had actually gotten filled for 3 contracts in GDX. It was moving down the entire side. Our order got split into 2 orders, and one side filled and then the other side filled 2 contracts and then 1 contract at a time. So it was really weird, but we did move down all 3. And the reason that we just moved down the 27 calls, not that we really need to make a major adjustment in GDX, so that wasn't the case at all. It was just that these 27 calls were only worth about 10 cents, and they're far out of the money for May expiration. So rolling them down to the 25 calls gave us an opportunity to sell those for $35. So we took in an extra $25 on each of these contracts that we rolled, so an extra $75 in premium, which hopefully we should be able to capture most of that at expiration, which is just in 10 days. So again, with GDX, it wasn't necessarily that the stock is moving against us. Everything's actually working out really, really well and continues to be for GDX. Here's our resulting May position that we have right now. We're totally neutral, totally balanced in this position. Stock is at 23.35. Our upper end break-even point is just above 26. Lower end is near 22. Again, it was just that those 27 calls were really far out of the money, so we just moved something a little bit closer to taking a little bit more premium. And you can see we're well positioned for the next 10 days in GDX with a lot of opportunity beyond that. And so here's actually kind of the look at the overall picture because we've got some June contracts as well. And you can see we're pretty balanced and neutral in GDX. Really good position that we're starting to build here. 2 new opening trades that we got into today. First one is in Solar City. Solar City was down big today. I think the stock was down almost 25% on the day. Just a huge move. I don't know why the chart's not loading here, but just a huge move on the stock on the day after earnings. I'm glad we didn't trade earnings. We didn't trade earnings because we didn't think we could sell enough premium to get far enough outside the expected move. But the stock was down about 20%. It closed 20% down, was down as much as 25% on the day. I feel like this stock could continue to move lower after this move, and that's what we're doing. We're just playing the continued move lower. This stock has had a lot of opportunities to kind of regain its momentum. It's had a lot of rallies that have failed. In fact, every single rally that it's had recently of late is, failed miserably. So I think the stock is trading at its lows and could definitely continue lower. Right now, what we did is we played this by buying the 18 puts, selling the 16 puts. That gives us an effective kind of break-even point around $17. That's where we want the stock to be below at expiration. And again, it's a small trade. It's about $300 of risk. So hopefully we should be able to close this thing out pretty quickly. In that same vein, we went ahead and also made a directional bullish trade here in TLT. We went ahead and did it with a debit call spread. We bought the 130 calls, sold the 132 calls, paid about mid-price on that, so about 93, which is almost halfway between there. So again, our break-even point's right around 131. And with TLT, the thought process here is that with June expiration, I don't think that the Fed is going to come close to raising rates, definitely not in the May cycle or the June cycle. So if that's the case, I think that the bond market continues to rally off of this news and kind of works independent of the stock market here, or the equity market for the rest of the year pretty much. So on that note, I want to play bonds a little bit higher. And so that's what we're doing. Super low implied volatility. You can't really sell a credit spread or an iron condor here. I don't think that a calendar spread is worth it here because a calendar spread really makes money with the move up in implied volatility, and I just don't think we're going to see that. So that's why I decided not to go with the calendar spread, to go just purely with the directional trade here in TLT. But as always, we're keeping the trade size really small. So again, 3 contracts here, very similar to what we did with Solar City, just to make things small and hopefully manageable until we get some higher implied volatility across the board. So everything generally is working out pretty well. EWZ moved really well for us today, and it continues to move back into the range that we need. So generally speaking, the portfolio looks pretty well. It's just there's low volatility in the market, so we can't do too much. There's a little bit of having our hands tied behind our back for the time being. But hopefully we should get some volatility here later in the cycle. Maybe we do, and we have more opportunity to sell some premium. Until next time, happy trading.